You're listening to Shirley Jackson, The Lottery.
Hi! We are the Team One, and this is Daffodil Gracia Wenceslao, your anchor for today. I started this podcast to share with you the exciting story of Shirley Jackson, The Lottery. This is all about the story of survival, humanity's and darkest forces, and the mindless preservation of tradition, where we are going to learn and enjoy together as we go deeper beyond of its roller coaster journey. This show is about rigorous analysis of the story, not just for me, but for you and for the world. This is Shirley Jackson Show, and welcome to the Lottery Podcast. So for today, I will gonna share with you the first episode of this show, which is the summary itself. So it goes by: on a warm day in late June 27th, to be exact, villagers gather in the square to participate in a lottery run by Mr. Summers, who officiates at all the big civic events. Oh, this sounds fun. The children arrive first and begin collecting stones until their parents call them to order. Mrs. Hutchinson arrives late and chats briefly with her friend Mrs. Delacroix. It's just another day in an idyllic small town. Mr. Summers calls each head of the household forward to a black wooden box where each selects a slip of paper. Once the men have chosen, Mr. Summers allows everyone to open the paper and see who's been selected. The lucky person selected, Bill Hutchinson. His wife immediately starts protesting, so we get the sense somehow that they're not about to win a couple $1,000,000. What kind of lottery is this exactly? There are 5 people total in the Hutchinson family. Mr. Summers places 5 slips of paper into the box, and each member of the family draws. Tess or Mrs. Hutchinson draws a slip of paper with a big black dot in the center. Not good. The villagers advance on her, and it becomes crystal clear what the prize for the lottery really is. A stoning. Tess protests in vain as the villagers attack her. And that ends for our first episode for Shirley Jackson Show. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, we hope you're enjoying the show. We'd just like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for making this episode possible. Rider Music Festival, Storm Bangalore, Vivo Mobile, Oppo Mobile, Huawei, Lenovo, LG, Samsung, Zebronics, Leva Mobile, Leva Mobiles, and Xiaomi. You're listening to Shirley Jackson, The Lottery.
Hi guys, this is Roxette Ibanez, your second anchor for today, and you are still listening to the Shirley Jackson Show, The Lottery Podcast. For this time, I will share with you the episode 2 of the show, which is talking about the elements itself. Elements is the foundation of all, right? It always does make sense. Today, I am just by myself, and let me lend your ears at this very moment where we are going to learn and enjoy together as we go deeper of this story. The characters of the lottery: Tessie Hutchinson, the unlucky loser of the lottery; Old Man Warner, the oldest man in the village. He condemns the young people in other villages who have stopped holding lotteries, believing that the lottery keeps people from returning to a barbaric state. Mr. Summers, the man who conducts the lottery; Bill Hutchinson, Tessie's husband. He is fully willing to show everyone that his wife Tessie has drawn. The setting of the lottery is in a small town that resembles most American small towns. The village is consisted of about 300 residents who are both excited and terrified by the idea of an annual lottery ritual. The ritual takes place in a beautiful summer day in June. The setting of the lottery is synonymous with the setting in most small towns of the 1930s. The plot of the lottery. In the lottery, the residents of a rural town gathered to participate in a tradition called the lottery, and some residents discussed the relevance of the lottery, revealing that some other towns have eliminated the tradition. Ultimately, Mr. Hutchinson draws the marked lottery slip and so his family members must each draw. After Tessie, his wife, draws the marked slip, she is stoned to death. The main conflict in the lottery is between Tessie Hutchinson and her society. The ritual of the lottery, including the stone of the person selected, is embodied in the village's culture. Very few of the townspeople still hold the beliefs that supported the sacrifice. The lottery themes. There are several themes in the lottery, but the most prominent theme is the danger of blind tradition. The villagers do not question the relevance of this tradition, and their only reason for not doing so is that it is a tradition. The author shows the absurdity of this concept by presenting people from all lifestyles in a single unit front. The other main theme in this story is family unity.
Thank you for listening to the Lottery Podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by our sponsor. Check us out at thelotterypodcast.com.
You are still tuning in the Shirley Jackson Show, the Lottery Podcast. How are you today, guys? I hope you're enjoying at your comfortable seats. So for today's episode, I am not just the only anchor, but not also twice, but four. Together with me today are my co-anchors. So say hello, everybody.
It's a great day to start!
Hello everyone! A pleasant day to all of us!
So for the last episode, we will gonna talk about the challenges and issues of the story. But before that, have you ever been linked to any issues at your life?
Well, yes, but I really don't mind it. I find it unnecessary to meddle in my life.
Well, start off. Issues really sucks. How about challenges? Well, certainly there is none excuse of this. Can you give us a little?
Challenges is inevitable, and right now I am facing the challenge as to how am I going to get a concert ticket to my favorite band.
Yeah. True enough, it's difficult to be a fangirl. So in connection for the last episode of the show, I know that you observed some challenges and issues upon reading the story, right?
I think the very first challenge that I observe is the social order. The rigid structure of society reinforces order and promotes conformity of all classes to the social norm. But an individual who rebels against established norm possesses a threat to society at the community level. The author conveys original thinking, which could lead to rebellious impulses, enforces an unfair distinction.
Yes, that is right, Tuela. The other issue also that I have discovered as I read the story is the gender inequality. Do you even remember in the part of the story where Mr. Summer reminds her that daughters draw with their husbands' families, showing that power is exclusively in the hands of males in families? Women must submit to their husbands' power over them. As men in the workforce, they are linked to the community as the provider.
Well, up until now, we can still see such issues in our daily lives that somewhat lead to this another issue that I am going to share. Rebellion. Mrs. Hutchinson rebel against socially accepted male domination. When her family name is called, she pushes her husbands up there. In doing so, she acts rebelliously, contradicting custom by reversing the accepted power relation between husbands and wives. Their tradition, which is another issue also to consider, was able to banish her from the society and stoned her till eliminated.
Wow, great observation, guys. Well, all of those are the issues and challenges that can be seen in the story. But to add more, just like the author, she herself encountered challenges as she wanted to publish the story. Do you know, guys, that for each submission, she suffered so many rejections? The New Yorker published 4 of her stories in 1943 and 4 again in 1944, and then nothing follows till 1948. Good thing is that her agent shielded her from all of those rejections. Also, there's an issue arises about this story. People thought it was a factual or report. She received lots of words just like bewilderment, speculation, and plain old-fashioned abuse. She was alarmed by the letters from the people, but the fact that some readers believed that the story to be true isn't as bizarre as it now seems. The New Yorker at the time.
So, to summarize everything, our life is just like a lottery. We don't know what's the price to all of our sacrifices. To win the lottery is to be stoned by the community. Just like the author, before she get the success that she deserved, she endure all the societal dilemmas stoned at her. This could be an eye-opener to us that in life, whatever challenges and issues thrown to us, we must always be still.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Lottery Podcast. Connect with us and don't forget to access ShirleyJacksonShow.com and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google Play. Thank you for listening and catch our next episode.